I suspect this episode is going to take more than a few takes. This is a highly personal topic for me. I'm going to try to keep the rawness out of it, although the pain is always there. We'll touch on that a little bit later. The topic is grandparent alienation, parental alienation. I'd like to just state from the outset that one day they'll do studies, I don't know, maybe they're underway now, about how the culture of alienation, the phenomenon of alienation happened, and it rose very, very quickly. And it was during the onset of social media, and it makes sense if you think about it. Children who were able to just go to a friend or sit and complain about parents and things they didn't like could do that in small numbers, right? But then when social media came into play, these people could all find one another. So any topic, any subject, any issue, you can now find any number of groups on social media. Same thing happened when I first experienced alienation. And of course, like everyone else, I was shocked. I mean, just shocked into being paralyzed at first. And it's been a journey, a very, very long journey. And when I first went on to social media, there were no other parental alienation groups. There wasn't a single one. The one that I started was the first one to my knowledge. Now there are a lot of them, as there are a lot of groups for adult children who want to gather together and blame their parents for everything. I should clarify that I've been in recovery for 24 years now. 24 years in active recovery. I thoroughly went through the 12 steps. When I got to step 9 years ago, made my amends and did a really thorough job. Of course, there's always something new that pops up. I share that because I did the work, and the choice of my child to remove herself, which happened over and over and over again during the course of several years. She'd come back and the kids would be back and then be gone again. And it was just over and over again. It was like a roller coaster ride from hell. So that choice was never mine. And that's the first thing I'd like to share, is that it's hard to remember, especially when you're so deep in the pain, that this is not a choice you made. If you had your way, it wouldn't be that way. And also, this is not a choice that was made with only me. This is a pattern that my child has established. We had never had alienation before. We'd get mad at one another, but, we'd sit down and talk it out. So that added to it, right? Social media, that's a very real factor throughout my long history of this journey. It's been proven time and time again. I've seen it over and over and over again. The other thing was, and if you think about this, it's kind of comical, but it's true. Along with social media came selfies. It's all about, they grab the phone and take pictures. And I mean, hundreds and thousands. I know my daughter did it. My granddaughters did it. I think even my grandson might have done it. It was constant. It is, I guess, still constant. If you think about that as well, if you're focusing on self all the time, well, what comes with that? That's the logistical part of this that I've come to figure out. It has taken me a very, very long time to get to this place of acceptance. Getting to this place of acceptance does not take away any of the pain. None of it. As a matter of fact, I just want to share with you, I belong to, as I said, some social media groups. One of them is for estranged parents and grandparents, and we chat with one another in this private group. Just a day or so ago, a woman just in a great deal of pain. She's been on this path for 4 years now, and she says she's been sick and it hasn't been healing. And she tells herself, I tell my mind enough, but my heart is another story. Every one of us can relate to that. I wish I could turn my brain off like you all have done. How do I do this? Oh my gosh, I just felt for her, and I'll tell you exactly what I responded. For me, it's not as much about turning my mind off as it is putting all the memories behind a closed and locked door. I have found it much less necessary to open that door as the years have gone by, and when I do, I spend much less time exposed to the pain. It's been a long, arduous journey, and it's never over. The door is always right there. Heavy sigh. That is exactly where I've come to in this journey, and as I've shared, I've been on it for a long time. I suspect as time goes on, I'll share more and more on my channel about this. It actually was one of the driving reasons behind my starting this channel. I just wanted to get my voice out there and my truth out there. And I know because I've been among you, there are so many, many thousands and thousands of stunned and paralyzed, and they're just astonished parents that go through this with their adult children. And every one of us is in this place when we first come through this door, kicking and screaming. Every one of us thinks that we can fix it. Every last one of us, and every one of us has done everything we can to fix it. 3 times before this last time, 3 times my child reached back out to me again during a crisis that she went through. And 3 times I was there for her. All 3 times. And the children, of course. And then after it would get better for her, something would happen, and I was no good again. And I was blamed again. And I was alienated again. And not long ago, another crisis occurred. And this was the first and only time that I wasn't able to reach back out in the same way. I never, ever, ever thought I'd be there. I wish I wasn't there. But I knew that unless the core issues are dealt with, the pattern just repeats itself. So what do I do about that? How have I managed that? And it has taken a long time. And inevitably, I've also seen there's an arc in the journey for pretty much every person who goes through this. You finally do come to acceptance, and it's a very heavy, sad acceptance. And when you see your friends out with their families and enjoying their grandchildren and doing the things that you just think you should be doing too, it does hurt. You just learn not to say anything anymore, because what's the point? I allow myself grace. I never used to do that. As mothers, we just take on all the guilt. It's born into us, and we always think we can fix it. There has to be a way to fix it. But there just isn't a lot of the times. The majority of the time when these choices are made. I would ask anyone that's experiencing this kind of abject pain, to ask yourself, was this your choice? Is this something that you chose? And if not, then it's out of your control. And your head will tell you that, and your heart will fight it for a long time. And also allow yourself grace. And I cannot tell you the time and energy that I've wasted, just wasted, waiting. But now I do things, and I plan on sharing at the end of this video what I'm actually doing right now. As I record this, spring is just around the corner, 5 days. And so I've spent the last week or so putting together these Sassy Soul Sister spring flower bouquets for my friends. And 5 of them are going to be able to come on Tuesday, and they don't know they're getting these. It's a total surprise. We're going to have a lunch together at my place, kind of a little bit of a spring celebration. Something else I don't do a lot. I have, throughout that journey, spent a lot of time isolating. But they're coming over, and I'm going to get to surprise them with these cute little flower pots for this spring. And that feeds my soul. Now, the truth is, the unmitigated truth is, I wish I could give one to my daughter. That would be the first one, right? That I'd want to gift. But that's not a possibility. And that's just sad, isn't it? I guess I would just say to you, you are far from alone. There are countless thousands of us out here. It's a phenomenon, alienation, that is still going on and still having repercussions. Just give yourself some grace. Allow yourself time to heal and find something that you like to do. And speak your truth. A lot of times we get silenced in the guilt and the shame. We need to rise up and let our voices speak. We need to be heard. We've been through an awful lot, this culture shock. So let's hang together and, as always, be good to you today. Thanks for listening.